Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the morning meditation, where it's my desire to bend our heart to God's Word. I want to talk about a merry heart this morning, and it's a great topic, something that I certainly struggle with, but I find this information and this thought really provoking, really good. So, hoping to be a help to you. I was reading through Proverbs 15. These verses jumped out at me. Look at verse 13. Solomon says, "A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart, the spirit is broken." So when there's a merry heart, the face is going to reflect that. Maketh a cheerful countenance. Verse 15, he says, "All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast." And so someone that has joy in their heart, it's like a continual feast. Verse 23, "A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good is it? How good is it?" So I thought some great verses in this chapter about joy and about having that merry heart. Consider this statement this morning. Everyone carries an atmosphere about them. All of us, we carry an atmosphere. It may be a healthy atmosphere. It may be a depressing atmosphere. It may make our little spot of the world sweeter, or it may make life harder for those around us that are in our circle, but we all carry an atmosphere everywhere we go. And I think about my dad. We celebrate his 20 years at the church this Sunday. And I think about for 20 years, he's just carried this atmosphere of a merry heart, to be honest. And it doesn't really matter the circumstances. You'll see on his face and in his words, you'll hear a merry heart. Yesterday was another example of this. He's running mail. His mail vehicle broke down. He had to take it in or get somebody to help him out there to take it in, and found out it's going to cost a lot of money. He has to run mail the next several days, and he's going to need that. But it's broken down right now. And then he gets a call while all that's going on that his RV is the problem is worse than he thought, and the damage is going to cost a small fortune to fix. And so he gets that news on top of already being broke down and already running way behind in the mail route. And he had a funeral to do last night, and I was part of that. We did a funeral together. And yet, when you talk to him that evening, you don't sense the panic. You don't sense the stress. You just see the same old person. And so it reminds me of this. We are responsible for our atmosphere. And people like myself, we maybe have trained ourselves to, if I'm stressed about Sunday coming up, and I allow it to affect my entire week and my spirit and my joy because I'm stressed about what's coming up. And so, but if we've trained ourselves to do that, to be discontented or to be unhappy everywhere we go, we're responsible to change that. Paul said this. Paul said, "I have learned, in whatsoever state I am, I have learned to be content." So Paul said, I haven't always been this way. Contentment was something I have to learn. And cheerfulness is something we have to learn. And so I want you to consider this thought today. Cheerfulness is a duty. Cheerfulness is a duty. And I don't think I've always thought of it this way. I know honesty is a duty. I know, to be patient with others, to be kind. Those are duties. But cheerfulness is a duty, and it doesn't come automatically when you become a Christian. It's something we have to strive for and be mindful of. And so I have a silly legend here that I want to read to you, but I think it makes a great point. It's a legend that talks about one day in Galilee, how the useful corn spurned the lilies because they fed no one's hunger. And the corn said, it said this: "One cannot earn a living just by being sweet." So the corn says to the lilies, you can't earn a living just by sitting around and being sweet all the time. The lilies said nothing in return. They only seemed to be the sweeter. But then the master came by, Jesus and his disciples, and the disciples were resting at his feet. And there the corn is. They're inviting Jesus to eat. And here's what Jesus said to his disciples. He said, "Children, the life is more than eating. Consider the lilies, how beautifully they grow." And it certainly seemed like a good day to be a lily on that day. And because they pleased the master was satisfied. And I just wonder today, How is the atmosphere that you carry around you? Because others are affected by it. So how are they affected by it? In a good way or in a bad way? I challenge you today, as I challenge myself. Let's be responsible for putting on this cheerfulness. And let's work on it. And let's remember, it's a duty, it's a responsibility to put on each day cheerfulness. Hope that's been a help to you. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I'll see you back tomorrow.